I'm Eric Nason with NewsShooter.com, and I'm at Cinegear 2022. I'm with Dominic from Creative Solutions. And Dominic, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. It's great talking to you.
Yeah, it's great. We were having a really cool conversation.
Yeah.
You have a really interesting background.
Yeah.
You came from Panavision, and now you're here with Creative Solutions. When did you join the team?
I joined the team in around October of 2020, right in the middle of COVID.
Right in the middle of it.
Right smack dab in the middle of it.
Well, I'm sure like you and a lot of companies, when things were slow, you started getting a little more creative with the engineering and planning stages.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, you're doing a lot of that for them, right?
Yes. So as you know, my job now is actually the Senior Director of Accessories for Creative Solutions. So I may be working at Wooden Camera running that engineering department, but what we really do is actually accessories for the entire brand, which is Teradek and Small HD.
So talk to me about what you're bringing to these products. I mean, I can see a big difference. There's a lot more going on here than just finding the right box to put a camera in. Talk to me about what you guys are doing and what you're specifically doing to make things better.
There's a lot of things that when I came into Wooden Camera to try to, streamline a little bit, most of it was giving Wooden Camera a look and feel, a new industrial design look, but at the same time, I wanted the features to overcome the actual form of the system. Form was second, features were first. The other thing was getting away from a lot of the blocky designs that we had at Wooden Camera. A lot of things were very simple in the designs in order to get to manufacturing as quickly as possible. But in turn, I wanted to bring that value back into it. I wanted something to have more features and try not to increase any of the costs involved to the consumer.
That's not an easy task.
And especially during these times, with long lead times, shortage of components, and just overall with all suppliers, whether it's in the United States or abroad, everything's taking longer. The expenses of all products are coming up, material costs are going up. It's been very difficult for us, but we are coming through. So we're still able to offer a lot of our components at the same prices that we were originally. Some things, especially electronic items, we did have to raise some of those prices. We had no choice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little about some of the Wooden Camera products, because I do see a big difference in the design. It has a little more of a flow to it that's a little bit different than it was in the past. What are you doing with that?
So the big thing right off the bat is to make sure that we don't have any sharp edges on anything. Everything is a much smoother feel, feels better in your hands, and it has that nice look and aesthetic feel to it. The other side is to make sure that it has all the features that I know through experience that people are asking for. Whether it's a battery plate, a cage, whether it's a bracket to attach another component to it, or even the ultra arms as we see up on this thing. We had to make changes to those, one, to make it feel better in the hand, but two, to have more features than what we had prior.
Very nice. And also, we were talking earlier, you're dealing with three brands. You're dealing with completely different types of products, but you want to make sure that these all work together, and that's also a pretty big feat.
Yes, and so tying in, so like the battery brackets that we're making have to have the same form factor or same ID as Small HD monitors, and some of the brackets that we're making for Teradek has to have that same feel as that, as well as tying that all into the Wooden Camera stuff. So it's been a real interesting change to help the company kind of build together and come together to have a common look and feel to all of our products.
Now, when you, I guess right here we have a new Fuji cage. This is for the HS2, right?
GFX.
Oh,
so
okay.
this is the GFX 100S, and up here we have the H2S camera cage. So, and features on this one, not only are we doing a full wraparound cage for stability purposes, we're adding added mount points. So we're not just tying to just the bottom of the camera. We want to take away any kind of flexing that happens from the camera body to the cage itself. We're adding cable clamps, but not everybody needs cable clamps. So we make all of that stuff removable. Different mounting points for carry handles, whether you want to bolt on cold shoe mounts, or you're trying to add mics, or we put focal plane marks on these things. It's all about trying to add as many features as we can to these cages, and in turn keep that cost within that realm for people to buy.
Yeah, because that's the bottom line is you gotta get them out. You gotta get them out of the door.
I can make it so somebody wants to buy it, but if it's not in their price range, it's kind of worthless at that point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And also integration between the other, like you're looking at rails.
Yeah.
You want those to work on the other cameras, so you want to make sure that the bottom is going to mount just right and all that fun stuff too, right?
In this particular case, these two cameras have two different optical centers. So I have one base plate, but I've changed the way that they mount to the bottom. So these are using ARCA plates on the bottom of these cameras, but I have different size of these ARCAs in order to allow the customer to move it. So this one here is quite narrow, but this one here actually is much thicker. So even though we're running the same base plate, same rails, same dovetail, we now can use common things across cameras, and those things are included in the price of the cage. So you're not having to buy all of that stuff separate. I'm trying to include as much as possible.
Yeah. Now, one thing I really appreciate is that you're using the ARCA, and it's in the right position. It's going forward, not sideways.
Well,
and it's probably the tolerance is probably correct. So you know how that problem is.
Right, and you know how some of those other manufacturers actually make the sideways one. If our clients want to do that, I actually have a dovetail, so we can pull this off and put a sideways dovetail on this.
Very nice.
Again,
options.
It's options and included in the price of the cage.
Nice.
Right? So it's all, again, like we've talked about. Can I keep the features that everybody may be wanting, right? And still make it affordable for somebody, and still have the cool factor, right? Because this does look better. I have to say, yes, those unified cages that we've made and that we still make, those universal cages, they have a place. But there is definitely a place for something that is more custom to the physical camera itself.
Yeah, I agree, and it looks nice. It looks like the edges are nice and rounded and smooth, and like you said, feeling good in the hand.
Yeah, we don't want anything sharp. We don't want anything poking you. We want you to be able to grab it and feel like that you're grabbing the camera and not that. And that's the same when we're talking about things like the Venice. So there's a lot of existing. Right now, we're showing our existing cage kits for the Venice, but in turn, we're also going back and revamping those accessories and bringing this look and feel back to those style of accessories. So we're still in that process. We're always changing.
All right. Thanks, Dominic. Cool stuff.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Creative Solutions. Big time, right?
Hell yes.